and some other people who we'll introduce in a moment, but let me just first explain why we're here. Today we filed a federal civil rights lawsuit seeking justice for the death of Tony Robinson Jr. He was shot without justification. He was shot in violation of his civil rights. His death was completely unnecessary. We've heard the Madison Police Department version that supposedly he was creating a threat of great bodily harm and death to the police officer. That's not true. Anybody who's seen the video, and it's available online for anybody who's interested in it, that video shows that the police version is false. It's completely untrue. The police officer who killed Tony said that at the time Tony was attacking him at the top of a stairwell. That is completely false. What the video shows is Tony Robinson inside an apartment building, not even on the video, while a police officer who is outside of the apartment building is shown on video shooting into the apartment building 3 shots. Then there's a pause, and then you can see Tony's feet on the ground, presenting no threat to anybody. And again, the police officer who is outside the apartment building fires 3 more shots into the apartment building, and then a 7th shot, for a total of 7. At least some of those shots were fatal, and the death was completely unnecessary because you can see on the video that the officer was in no danger and Tony was presenting no threat to him. And you can also see on the video that the police officer's story that Tony had attacked him in the stairwell and that he had shot in self-defense in the stairwell is completely false. It is completely contradicted by the video. And this family is seeking justice, and they're doing so by this federal civil rights lawsuit. We waited for the police department to have some accountability and to do justice, and they said that the shooting was justified, notwithstanding the evidence. The district attorney also decided that they were not going to prosecute, so there was no justice there. So the family has decided that the only way to get justice is through the civil jury system, is to tell their story in court to the community and to have the evidence come out on the table, and then the jury will see that this was a completely unjustified shooting. It shouldn't have happened, and Tony never should have been killed. And the next person that talks is going to be Andrea, and is going to talk about the loss, and then after Andrea, there's a few more people they're going to talk to. All right, actually David Owen, another attorney. David Owens, another attorney on the case, can have a few comments.
My name is David Owens. I'm another attorney with John, and the reason that we're here is the reason I became a lawyer, which is because after seeing what happened at WTO, I'm from Seattle, and this is not a new thing that's happening today, and this is about justice. As I think John mentioned, we have tried without any success to get some measure of accountability. So your status as being a police officer doesn't give you the right to harm people, to kill people. And the reason that we have to bring this lawsuit today is because that's the only way to take a step towards that accountability. And it's one of those things where you wish that the system would work, and everybody wants to believe that the system would work. We all want to live in a society where this is something that just doesn't happen. Or when it does happen, our public officials say, "Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, you are a victim, your family has been victimized, and you matter just as much as anybody else who's been harmed." Sadly, that's not the case, and that's why we're here, and that's why we're ready to turn things around, I guess you could say, and bring the fight back to them, and take some of this narrative back, because it is true that the story that's been put out there is based upon falsehoods, and we know that from the video, we know that from the audio, and it's just shocking that you could maintain something that is demonstrably false. And the only way, even when you have that kind of falsehood, is to bring a lawsuit, and that's why we're here today.
David, you want to?
Sure, that's fine. That's fine.
Don't forget to say your name.
I'm David Hart, and I just stand beside and behind Andrea Irwin in her fight for justice. She's singularly focused on justice for her son, but she is mourning and grieving her loss and the community's loss, our loss. There's certainly no question that Madison is a beautiful town, and it's a wonderful town. We're not saying that it's not. Tony was born and raised here. I was born and raised here. We know that it has beautiful lakes and beautiful services. It's a great place to raise a family. But underneath all of those things lies a lot of injustice, a lot of imbalance for people of color. We know that magazines and periodicals have called this one of the worst places to be black and to raise a black family. We know that there are disparities in the school system with the achievement gap. We know that black men in this county are per capita arrested at a larger rate than any county in the country. And so we know that there are a lot of injustices here, and we believe that this lawsuit, this action, is the beginning to address those particular injustices. We thank John Lovey, and we certainly thank you for being here.
Thanks, David. You're back. Say up, bro. Say announce who you think, I guess.
I am Andrea Irwin. I am the mother of Tony Robinson Jr. Since the day my son has been killed, Tony's father, Tony Sr., and I have tried very hard to let this city give some form of accountability for Matt Kinney's actions and some form of even a respect towards us as grieving parents and the way that we lost our child. We have sat back and tried to let the justice system work for itself. And at the end of the day, not only was there no accountability, there has been no justice. There has been a smear campaign against my child, against myself, my family, my son's father. We have been terrorized. We have been victimized over and over again. The city has went above and beyond to try to hurt us as much as we possibly can. A lawsuit for me is a chance to be able to get those that have hurt our family and took my son from me, from his father, from our family, a chance for us to get these people in a place where they have to answer for what was done. My son had 19 years on this planet and is now gone. And they have acted like that life didn't matter. They have acted like it's okay that he's no longer breathing and he is gone and we're just gonna move on with our lives as usual. Well, mine and his father's life will never, ever be the same. There is a hole that I cannot fill.
That's right.
And there's going to be some answers for that.
That's right.
My son was not this child that they have put him out to be, to try to protect a man that murdered him in a vicious, horrible manner and stood over him as he died. My son was a beautiful young man, and 19 years old, and I have been robbed of grandchildren, of the opportunity to see this intelligent young man graduate from college. We have been robbed of the beauty that was my son. And since I couldn't get any justice in the criminal courts, they chose not to charge this man with murdering my child and allowed him to go on with his life, and now to where points and my other children are forced to run into him in the streets of the city of Madison where we live. Then this is all I have left. And he will answer, and they will answer. Yes. For releasing my address, for murdering my son and murdering us over and over again every single day since that day, for taking away Mother's Day from me, for continuing to slander my child, my family in the media, for taking away our dignity, to taking away our safety. This is not okay. And I'm going to stand up and I'm going to say, this is not okay. My son mattered. His life matters. Every other person who's been killed, their lives matter. And the future people that are waiting in line to be the next person that is put into this movement, those people matter. And it will stop. And if this is the only way that we can start to do this, then by God, this is how we will do this.
That's right. That's right.
I will not let my son be forgotten. And I will not let this city get away with what they've done to him or us. Period.
Yep.